Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Score Sheet. I'm Ahmed Nader. I'm filling tonight for my colleague Dirmin Abdulrahman. Tonight in Score Sheet we'll be discussing two important topics or two different sports, which are cycling and diving. In the first segment we'll be discussing diving with an Egyptian diver who is living in the United States for the past 2 or 3 years. And in the second segment we'll be talking more about cycling and a Korean phenomenon who is having a Korean cyclist here in participation with another cyclist who is from Egypt, driving through in Luxor and Aswan, going across the globe on a bicycle. So we'll be seeing more after this short break. Welcome back. You're still watching Score Sheet, and as I promised you before the break, we'll be talking more about diving in the first segment of the program. And I'm honored to be having with me here in the studio tonight Mr. Emad ALatif, who is an Egyptian diver living in the United States for the past 2 or 3 years, and will be talking to us more about the sport. Hello, Emad.
Hi.
Hello. So I understand that you have been living in the United States for the past 2 or 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct.
Is there a difference between practicing diving here in Egypt and in the United States? What is the main difference?
I'd say the difference is in Egypt you basically just focus on when you want to practice, and that's mainly after school.
Mm-hmm.
You can like set a specific time, which is like an hour or two right after school, and in the United States.
So you're not really dedicated to the sport here in Egypt?
Yeah. In the United States,
it's just more of a hobby?
Yeah, yeah. It's like if you want to go, if you don't want to go, it's mainly based on you. But in the United States, they have like a specific schedule where you have to design it based on your school schedule, like the university. And whenever you have free time in between, that's when you usually go and practice.
So this means that you could be practicing for 7 days a week, right?
Yeah, yeah.
7 days a week.
It's usually 6 days a week. We usually get like 1 day off, which is Sunday. And
that's still a lot.
Yeah.
For 6 days a week.
Compared to what we used to practice here, it's like it's a lot more.
So, of course, now you told us that in the United States you practice for 6 days a week. Maybe in Egypt here you'll be practicing for maybe 4 or 5 days.
It used to be like 5 days a week.
Is this a big difference there and here?
It's not usually the number of days. It's usually the amount of hours that we put in the practice times in the United States compared to here. Because in the United States it's usually about 4 to 5 hours a day compared to here, where it used to be like 1 or 2 hours a day.
So you actually practice about 24 or 30 hours in the United States on diving?
Yeah.
Of course, this made you a better diver.
Yeah, yeah, a lot.
You see that. So in terms of tournaments, do you participate in tournaments in the United States, or is it here in Egypt, or how does it go for you?
In the United States, I usually compete in any university-related competition. Any other competitions that's related to actual USA divers that are actual citizens, those I can't compete in. Whenever they have any national championships in Egypt, that's when I come back and usually compete at any other university-related competition. It's usually in the United States.
Okay, so speaking firstly about the United States, how many tournaments have you taken part in?
So far, I'd say about maybe 15 competitions.
15. And how old are you?
Right now I'm 21.
You're 21. So that's a good average for you right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess we can see you right now practicing on screen. So would you tell me more about the procedures or the training itself?
In the actual practices, we have like TVs set up in every single location where after every dive we can go up and watch the dive and repeat and watch it however many times we want to watch it and see the mistakes, the flaws that are happening in those dives, and even without the coach's response or feedback, we can analyze what is wrong with the dive and like correct it in the next one when we go on. Well, here in
we
Egypt,
also understand that there are two types of diving, right?
Yeah.
And this on screen is one of them.
Yeah, that's a springboard. It's different from tower diving or platform diving, where this one's the springboard actually gives you more more power, more height, while the platform diving is mainly just flat.
It counts on your jump itself.
Yeah, yeah, it's more based on that.
So you've taken part in 15 tournaments in the United States.
Yeah.
How many of them have you won?
I'd say two that I actually
That's a good
won.
start.
Yeah.
Which ones did you win?
They were both on the 1 meter springboard. That's the first level. One was at my university. It was a few months ago actually, and the one that I won before was last year, and it was against University of Louisville, and it was also on the 1 meter springboard.
Okay, so we can see a picture right now on the screen. How many hours did you put to be going through such a jump? I don't think it's easy to be jumping. Maybe for a newbie like me, if I wanted to try such a thing, it wouldn't be going like that, at least. So how many hours did you put in training to be achieving that?
Yeah, well, looking back when I used to start here in Egypt, diving here in Egypt, it was, I'd say it took me about maybe 2 years to actually get into a good performance level that I can actually compete with good divers nationally. So the first 2 years, I'd say, were I think the hardest, the ones that I actually put in the most effort into it. And then it just progressively, it all came down to just keeping that same performance and increasing it a little bit time after time.
So when did you start diving here in Egypt?
I started when I was around 7 years old.
7, and you're 21, so that about how many years? 15 maybe?
About 15.
In diving?
Yeah.
That's a lot too.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many tournaments have you won here in Egypt? We understand that you have participated in 15 in the United States and won 2 of them.
Yeah.
What about here in Egypt?
In Egypt, they usually had about 1 or 2 national championships
all year long, right?
In every year. So I'd say the ones that I won are maybe around maybe 10.
10 out of how many?
Out of all the competitions that I competed in, I'd say maybe like 20 competitions. So.
That's a better average, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Than the one you have in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did play here in Egypt and you did play in the United States. So what does it take to make the sport better here in Egypt, in your opinion?
I'd say, I mean, the coaching is very similar. Like the coaching techniques that the Egyptian coaches here have is very similar to how the other coaches in the United States or any other country have. It's all mainly based on the facilities that we have compared to in the United States. Like in here, everything that we depend on is the boards that we're actually diving on, and sometimes the flips like from the floor into the water. While in the United States they have like they have the TVs that we can watch. They have trampolines. They have the bubble systems, which help if you're learning a new dive and you're not scared, so you don't really get hurt if you mess it up. And
we don't have that here.
Yeah,
we don't have the equipment either.
Yeah, they're starting to build some of those projects, but it's very slow compared to like in the United States. So it's mainly based on the facilities.
Okay, so were you offered to be part of the Egyptian national team of diving?
Yeah, I'm currently on the national team. I started when I was about 11 or 12. That's when I joined the national team, and from there on, I've been taking part in any like international competitions.
So you did participate in the name of Egypt?
Yeah.
And the Egyptian national team for diving. So how did that go?
It was good, but we haven't really competed in a lot of international competitions. I think that's the main issue. Like I've been in the actual national team a couple times. Every year when they decide to go to or join any international competition, it's just we haven't been in a part of those competitions a lot more than we should have been.
So you say that here in Egypt we have only 1 or 2 competitions for diving all year long.
Yeah.
Is this good for the sport itself here in Egypt or not?
I don't think so. I think the more competitions they have, the more...
Because you've been in the United States for only 3 years and you've taken part in 15.
And almost the same amount of competitions I've been here, like in the United States when we have like 10 competitions, around 8 to 10 competitions a year, it really helps every athlete and every
and that's only for the colleges?
Yeah. It helps every athlete to gain more experience from those competitions compared to when you only have 1 or 2 a year. It doesn't really give that athlete that much experience and motivation, I guess.
Yes, you also said that you are specialized in the springboard jump.